You know that sinking feeling when you're standing next to someone and you know you should say something, but your brain completely shuts down?
How's your day? Good.
And you both stand there in painful silence, wishing you were anywhere else. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone, but you're also doing small talk completely wrong. Here's what this video is about. I'm going to show you why that awkward silence happens and revolve the psychology behind confident people. And by the very end, give you a simple 3-word phrase.
Yes.
That can turn any dead conversation into an engaging one.
Most people think they're bad at small talk because they don't have interesting things to say. That's not the problem. Most people think small talk is about having interesting things to say. Wrong.
They think it's about being charming or witty. Also wrong. The real secret isn't about what you say at all. It's about what you notice. However, there's a specific way to turn what you notice into conversation gold. And that's what most people completely mess up. Let me paint you a picture.
Someone's standing near you, and you know you should say something.
But your brain goes blank.
How's your day? What do you do?
What do you do?
The conversational equivalent of plain toast.
What do you do? Work.
You both stand there awkwardly, and you think,
you're treating the other person like a computer that needs the right input command.
you're not connecting with a human being. You're trying to execute a social program. The confident people around you aren't using magic.
They're not naturally charismatic. They're doing something completely different that you can learn in the next few minutes. However, before I show you what they're doing, you need to understand why your current approach fails so spectacularly. How's the weather today?
Oh.
When you ask generic questions, you're putting pressure on the other person to perform. They have to think of an interesting answer, worry about how they sound, and essentially carry the conversation for you. It's exhausting for them, which is why they shut down. But then I discovered something fascinating. Watch what happens when you shift from asking questions to making observations. Instead of, "What are you reading?"
What do you do?
"Nice shoes you got there."
Oh, thanks.
That book looks like it survived a few coffee spills. Oh yeah, it actually did.
How's work? Boxing. You have the look of someone who just survived a Monday morning meeting.
Oh, I actually did.
This works because you're removing pressure and adding curiosity. Explain yourself. Nice tie. Thanks. Without feeling like they're being interviewed. But here's where most people still mess this up. They make boring observations. I like the moon.
Nice weather today? That's so lame. That's a cool shirt. I'm not even wearing any.
These are conversation killers because they don't invite engagement. The difference between a conversation starter and a conversation killer comes down to 3 specific elements that I'm about to show you. However, before we get there, let me ask you something. If this is helping you see small talk differently,
Hit that like button and subscribe.
because I break down social psychology like this every week. Also, drop a comment and tell me your worst small talk experience. I read every single comment. The 3 elements of magnetic observations are specificity and slight exaggeration and implied story. Let me break these down. Specificity means you're noticing details others miss.
Nice shoes. Those shoes look like they could survive a zombie apocalypse. Damn, I never thought about that. White text.
You have the expression of someone who just discovered their coffee was decaf.
Oh, that's true.
It's dramatic enough to be interesting, but relatable enough to feel genuine. Implied story means your observation hints at something bigger.
Nice shoes. Those shoes look like they could survive a zombie apocalypse. Damn, I never thought about that.
Without directly asking for it. But then something interesting happens when you combine all 3.
Your observations become conversation magnets because you're not just commenting, you're painting a picture that the other person wants to either confirm or correct. Therefore, they naturally start sharing without feeling pressured. However, here's where it gets really powerful. You can layer these observations to create conversation threads that people actually want to follow, instead of one comment and done. Wow, tell me more about it. Sure, you're building a dialogue. For example, you notice someone at a bookstore holding 3 completely different genres. Tell me more.
That's either the most eclectic reading list ever, or you're shopping for 3 very different people.
They laugh and explain they're getting books for family members. But then you follow up with, that's either really thoughtful, or you're trying to win favorite family member status. Now you're not just making small talk, you're creating a playful dynamic. The key is reading their energy and adjusting accordingly.
I'm getting late for work. Oh, okay, goodbye. Oh, tell me more about it. Sure, so what happened was...
Therefore, you're not forcing anything, you're responding to what they're giving you. This works in professional settings too.
How's the project going?
Going fine.
You have the focused look of someone either solving a puzzle or planning someone's demise.
This guy is interesting.
It's professional enough for the workplace, but interesting enough to break the monotony. The beauty is that once you start thinking this way, you'll notice conversation opportunities everywhere. However, there's one specific phrase that ties all of this together. The 3-word conversation starter I promised you at the beginning. The 3-word phrase, 7 to 8. But then you need to understand how to deploy this phrase correctly, because context is everything. The 3 words are,
I bet the coffee has saved your morning. It indeed did.